Awesome. Thank you, Sparcy. So kind of how we plan this is we have this PowerPoint where it'll kind of go through the different steps of like the LinkedIn profile, and we'll kind of touch on different things that you guys can edit and add. And then periodically throughout, we'll have Rithika show her own LinkedIn profile so you can kind of see as an example, and also she'll step through like kind of where to click to go for everything. So since both of us are sharing screens, I think you guys like will have to switch screen somehow. Ricky, do you want to explain that a little bit and just like how to do that?
Yeah, so if you like sort of shake your mouse, you'll get the view options button at the top. And then if you go down like towards the bottom, there will be a shared screens sort of section. And then it has both Allison's and Rithika's screen on there. So you should be able to click on whichever screen you want to view. And then if you're having trouble with that, just message me and I can try to guide you towards it. And we'll also be clear about when we're talking about which screen.
Yeah, we'll try to keep it at a minimum too, just so we're not like going back and forth all the time. Yeah, so we really want this workshop to be more like interactive and for what you guys need. So if there are parts of LinkedIn profile that you guys want to spend more time updating or like want to skip over, please just you can either message one of us in the chat, raise your hand, or I feel like I sound like a professor now, like teaching a Zoom class, or just like unmute yourself and say anything. So definitely like ask questions throughout. You don't need to save them till the end. Yeah. So kind of just see where you guys are at. Can you give a thumbs up like in the reactions if you already have a LinkedIn? Okay. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys. So if you don't already and you need like a little bit of a slowdown, again, just feel free to message us and then we can take some more time and yeah, I guess go over details more. So I think right now we would like to encourage you guys to kind of just brainstorm a little bit before we actually look at your LinkedIn. So if you know it's been a while before you've touched it, just kind of take out a piece of paper and jot down things that you would want to add, or if you don't have one already, just think of either activities, organizations, maybe different projects that you've worked on, and things that you just want to include and highlight in your LinkedIn. I think personally, like your LinkedIn can be a little bit more detailed than your resume because you're not limited to one piece of paper, but you still don't want to overwhelm anyone who's like looking at it. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend putting everything on your LinkedIn, but now is a good time to just write down everything and then you can go back and choose. Yeah, so we'll give you guys about 2 minutes to do that. Okay, can you guys, if you, wait, can you guys just give a thumbs up if you are good to keep going? If not, it's totally okay. We can do a few more minutes. Just give it like another minute. Okay, let's keep going then. Rithika, is this your part?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Is it up? I don't even know. Okay. So for the intersection, that's like the first part of it. I have some very informative pictures about what you should and shouldn't do. So of course it should be like professional. Like it's good if you wear a business suit and like clear quality. Of course, like any picture, like you don't have to wear a business suit, just like don't be like me and like take a picture of you on your bed. And your headline should be a phrase that describes you professionally. So that could be like you being a student and like what you study, or it could also be like something more like like a leadership position that like you feel like describes you professionally, like the one that you like put in a lot of effort to. But some really good examples, except maybe don't use professional TikTok dancer. But I don't know. You can tell me how it works, like what type of people you get in your network. And your contact info section, you can change your profile URL to something fancy. So if you guys came to the Zoom workshop that was like a months ago, in the beginning of spring quarter, I showed people how to like change their URL to be like their own name, and you can do that with your LinkedIn too. So you can like just be cool and professional and like send that link to people. Yeah. And then next we have the about section. Okay. Allison, do you also think you could let me know when you're on the slide?
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, we're on the second slide. Next
Okay.
slide.
So I have two examples of for your about section, which is actually like the summary that's on your page, like it's right below your intro or whatever. And like and the like I have an example of like a bad example, which was actually my it was my summary before I realized it was wrong. Like I literally misspelled I misspelled undergraduate at UCLA studying computer science. I spelled it undergraduate, which is like, so it was like I could have done better and I should have. And then like a good example is like, okay, I don't want to say that like what I changed it to now is like the best example ever. It's really not. It's just like less vague and more intact spelling wise than the first one. And I also included some fun fairy comments that describe these examples. I don't know if you guys know what fairy comments are. It's just like this trend where like, okay, it starts off sounding like a compliment and then like it ends up not being one. So the first one's like, words can't describe this example, and you'd expect it's like it's so beautiful, but no, it's like words can't describe this, but numbers can. 2 out of 10. So and okay, the other one is it just like the better summary like shows who you are, what you're looking for, and like the skills you have. And that's actually like a nice comment because recruiter called and said you got the job. So good job with if you do a summary like that. And then of course, keep it concise. Like you get to show off a little bit about yourself. And then you can make it a paragraph, short sentences, or bullet points, just as long as it like gets the point across. And then
Next slide.
yes.
Okay, so this next section is the featured section, and I kind of think of it as like your trophy case. So it's kind of things that you want to just highlight real quick. So a lot of times you could put links, website links and files. I think would probably be the most common, but you can actually also like put LinkedIn posts. So if you have like a super trendy LinkedIn post or something that was like amazing, you could feature it there, or maybe different LinkedIn articles that you find interesting. So this is kind of just like, in addition to the about section, the first glance of you that the recruiter or someone would get. I personally recommend, like, if you, for websites, you can definitely put in like a personal portfolio, or if you have links to a project that you did, or maybe even like your GitHub if you're like CS or that related. And then files, you could put, similarly, if you have like a PowerPoint version of your portfolio, that would be a good thing to put here. Other things, maybe, I think I put my resume on there, but I don't know if that's like the best thing, but just in case, and that's an option. And then we will also go into like how to do all of this, but just basically a place where you can upload files to kind of show off a little bit. Alrighty, so that was kind of a bit of information. So we want to give you guys an opportunity to actually look at what your profile is like and make those changes. So like Spurti said, if you guys can go to the view options and then switch to Rithika's screen. And then once you do so, give us a thumbs up.
Okay, well, I'll describe my screen, and like this is like you get to this by like going to your profile, and basically like the things that we pointed out before is like changing this headline to be something that like it could be like one or two things that describe you. You can just like edit it by clicking there, and this is like the about section. So like, okay, I was just spell checking that I spelled that right this time. And if you want to edit your URL to be like fancy, you can go here, like click. If you guys saw that, it was like the top right of your screen, and it's like it's right here, so you can like change it to something that probably no one else has taken already. So try to get your name. If you can't, then just like add numbers next to it. So, and then you can just share that link with people, and it would automatically be like your profile. And so for features, if you go to add profile section and add featured, so you can like link media and stuff. I actually haven't done this yet, but let's do something. I like was involved in like creating this like virtual piano that like translates piano playing to sheet music. So I'm putting the site of that here, but like this, does that work? Oh my gosh, it might. But yeah, you can like feature stuff like this. We can also let's look at Allison, because her LinkedIn is so
you guys
good.
don't need to.
Like just, okay, look at Allison. She has a personal website. Her resume, it's so professional. Like you guys, this is the goal, guys. So
That's not true, though. What's the Rithika's?
No. But okay, yeah, like if I click on that, it's my thing. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we'll give you guys maybe like 2 to 3 minutes right now just to kind of start updating that section. And then when you guys are good, we will keep moving.
Yeah. I'm also going to update stuff because I'm also going to this workshop to like get me to actually update my LinkedIn.
If you guys need suggestions or tips for wording and stuff, please feel free to just ask, or if you want us to take a look or anything. I don't know if we're necessarily qualified to do so, but we can at least give input if you need. Okay, can you guys actually thumbs up if you need more time? Okay, sounds good. Then I think we can keep moving. If you guys want to switch your screen thing back to mine for the PowerPoint, and then we'll go on to the next section. Okay, work experience.
Yes. So this section is probably the one that's like the meatiest, and it's going to take you the most to tune up. I mean, fine tune. Okay, so basically, okay, yeah. So this is your opportunity to like really like flex and like brag about yourself. Like pretend like you have no self-esteem issues whatsoever, and just like act like the most arrogant person you can think of, and it won't even come off like that. It'll just come off as like you're impressive and you like are doing like the things that you do are super inspiring. And like for ideas for what you can add, there's like work that you do in clubs, so like leadership positions that you've done, and like specific projects or teams that you've worked on. Those are good. Internships, of course. Make sure to like talk about like the technicalities and like what you did specifically during those, because you really want to get across that you have a specific skill set to recruiters. You also, you can, any other projects that you do outside of those things that like are from like going to hackathons, just like working with friends, doing projects from class that like took a lot of time and effort and that you like personalized too. And like if you're thinking of going to hackathons, there's I'm technical director for SWE, and so I get to be part of putting on Queer Hacks, which is a hackathon that we have at UCO that like Isabel and Smriti are in the team with me, and they started it last year, and it's happening again. We want to promote like LGBTQ plus diversity in tech, and so if you guys don't have plans third week of January, we we have your plans for you. But anyway, I also included this screenshot of the CS32 professor who like shared on his Facebook page about his like the specifications for their third project that was like 57 pages long, and like a lot of people like to include like you can include that project as well as on your LinkedIn, because it's like it takes a lot of work and you gained a lot of skills from it. So if you're really like struggling to think of stuff to include, that's part of it. Yeah. Wait.
No, I accidentally just went to the next slide too soon.
Okay. And then other tips are like include company icons, so you can like search for it, and it's a way that like companies can also find you and like gives you more I think like makes it easier for recruiters to find you, and like adding links to media files that like Allison did, and yeah, it's basically like your resume but different.
Yeah, just to add for the company icons, I know like for like when you're adding the place that you work, if you like search it in a way where it'll like pop up on the bottom, then it'll just like automatically have icons. So I know like, for example, if you had a position in SWE, we have like a little icon. I think it's like Society of Women's at UCLA or something. So it just kind of has that image versus it just being like blank. Or I know if you did Creative Labs, they also have like an organization on LinkedIn. So then you can kind of add that to your profile. So that it gives it a little bit more legitimacy, I guess. Seems more legit.
Yeah,
So
so I can.
You good with me?
Yeah, I can also show you guys what Allison means. Like if you go to my screen and like you search up like Society of Women Engineers, and oh, is this followable? Oh, I guess not. Okay, someone give me a random company name. Actually, I'm just doing Tesla.
Nike. Okay.
Sorry. I didn't even wait. But like, yeah, if you're like interested, you can press follow. Like if this is like a place that you want to see yourself like working at, and like you like what it's about, then also if you go back to your profile and like under companies, under interests. At the very end, like it shows up. So it says I'm interested in Tesla. Oh, I already follow Society of Women Engineers. Okay, that's why. Okay. But yeah, go follow Society of Women Engineers. Yeah, just follow them and see if it works. It's just a test run. But that's like a cool hack. And of course, for work experience, like this is just like my example of like, I need to update it too, which I'm going to do now for like the next 10 minutes. But basically I try to be like specific and like include company icons or organization icons to make it look more legit, and just have like a couple of bullets that like concisely sum up what I did. So we can all take a moment to work on that part right now. And if anyone else has any like other tips or input, feel free to give it.
Yeah, just to add, something that I've heard a lot from recruiters is a general rule of thumb, even in your resume with like the description section, it's always good to start with like a verb. They call them action verbs. So just a way to kind of show that like you did something. And then also just make sure for like cleanliness that if it is an experience that you have already finished and it's like in the past, that all your action verbs in the beginning of each bullet point are like past tense, just to like be consistent. And then if it's something that you're currently in, either keep it in like present tense or like the ing tense. I don't know what it's actually called, and just making sure that you're consistent for all your points. It's just like a small little detail that makes it look cleaner. And I think if you vary up the verbs that you use too, that'll definitely help. And if you can include numbers or any kind of statistics, I guess, to just quantify your results, I know that's always a plus, but if I know sometimes that's just not possible. So don't worry too much about that. Just if you have it, definitely use it. Yeah, so we'll give you guys around like 6 to 8-ish minutes because we know this section is like pretty big and probably what most people will be looking at. And feel free to just ask any questions that you guys might have. And we are here for you. Okay, so there's a question about should we contact LinkedIn connections for referrals even if we don't know them very well? I think it's funny that you asked this question because I actually had the same exact question earlier today that I asked in a different session. And I think it depends like what you're comfortable with. Personally, I don't know if I would just straight up ask someone like, oh, hey, can I get a referral to your company if we aren't super close? But something that you could do instead is like still reach out to them, but ask like, hey, I'm interested in possibly working at this company. Would you mind having just like a coffee chat or something to talk about it? And then I think after that, maybe you would be able to feel more comfortable like learning more about the position and getting to know them more, and maybe they would be more willing to help out. So I think you should always, in my personal opinion, you should always reach out. But I don't like whether or not you reach out right away and just ask for a referral is up to you and what you're comfortable with. But you could kind of like ease into it a little more and just ask to like chat with them about it first. I think personally that's like what I would lean towards doing. But I think like it doesn't hurt to reach out because the worst that they say is no, and then you just move on. But if you never reach out or like make an effort, then like the answer is always no, right? Because you didn't try. Does anyone else have anything else to share from their experience? If you guys are struggling with the action verbs, I know sometimes I'm struggle to find ones that sound different enough. I just sent a link that has like different categories of maybe like your role in a project and then different words that you could use for that. They all sound really great too, like E plus professional. Can you guys give a thumbs up if you would like some more time? Okay, we'll do another 2 minutes. Okay, are we good to keep going? Sounds good. If you guys want to switch back over to my screen and then we can continue with the PowerPoint. But now we'll go on to the education section.
Yeah, so this section should be pretty straightforward. I think like when you make your account, you put a lot of this stuff in. But just as sort of like a recap, this is like how your education section should be laid out. So at the top is UCLA with your like major and like what kind of like degree you're getting, and then the years that you'll be there. And then on the bottom, which on the screen, like this is my example. So I have like my high school and like what years I went there and then the stuff that I did there. So like if you're a first year or a transfer student, like there's like a little activity section underneath. So that's probably like a little bit more important to like make sure you put your activities there, since you won't have a lot of stuff for UCLA. But if you're like sort of doing this later, you can leave this stuff on your page if you already have it, but make sure to update your LinkedIn with the new stuff you're doing under the accomplishment section or the education, or the last section that we did, the experience section, just to make sure that you're keeping it updated. And then the next section, so the next two sections are sort of optional / like not applicable to everyone. So the first one would be licenses and certificates. And if you've done a course on like Udemy or Coursera or something like that, where you like actually get a certificate that from that course, then you can put it on there. But I honestly haven't seen a lot of accounts with them. So that's pretty much all I have for that section. And then the next section, Allison, is volunteer experience, which I also haven't seen a lot of. Oh, that picture is blurrier than I thought it was going to be. But this is from someone who like isn't from like an engineering background, but it's just basically something that they are doing like on their own time. And I have the source if you want to go like more into depth about the volunteer experience, but basically just highlighting what you're doing at that organization or at that club, and then how long you've been there. But again, like this section and the previous section are like sort of like optional sort of stuff, like if you've done it.
Yeah, and just to add on for the licenses and certificates, I think that's something that'll be more applicable once we go like actually start working, because I think kind of part of your job is just like, you know, continually learning through things like online classes that would give licenses and certificates, but while we're like still students, like Bertie said, it's not as applicable.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a pretty quick section, but we just wanted to give you guys some time to edit these parts. So if you want to switch over to Rithika's screen and she can show you kind of how to add each part of these sections, and then you guys can take some time to do it.
Okay, let's update education. Oh wait, you go here. And I don't have anything else to add because I included my high school and my college. But I think if I wanted to edit it, I can be like a little more specific. Hopefully you can like describe, maybe like if you're doing research, you could add that in like your description, like what you focused on, like stuff that's like really specific to school. But actually research would be in your work experience. But you know.
Yeah, if you're putting something in there, I would just keep it like really short. Like for me,
Yeah.
like my high school activities and stuff aren't in the work experience section. So like when I made this, I like had just graduated high school. So like I kind of threw that in there. But like if you go back to the slide or whatever, if you're looking at this later or something, I really only have like the names of what I did. I don't have any like description. So it would be best to keep it short so that you can like focus in and like get those like smaller details in your experience section or whatever other section that you want to put it in.
Yeah, that's a really great point. I think not many people really spend that much time on the education section, especially in activity. So anything that you really want to elaborate on, I would definitely put in the work experience or the experience section. Okay,
Maybe.
awesome. We'll,
oh, never mind.
Okay.
I had
I'll
nothing.
just say, okay. We'll give you guys about 3-ish minutes on this part. But of course, if you guys need more time at the end of that, we can spend a little more time on here. Okay, so are club positions unrelated to your career worth including? I think yes. I think especially if you have some sort of like leadership position in it, but also it's a great way to show that like you care about other things and not just like super technical, and that you have like more soft skills that are related. And I would include them. And maybe if it's not something that you feel comfortable in the experience, you could also put it in like your interest or like your hobbies, just to show a little bit more well-roundedness of yourself. GPA from college and education section. I'm trying to think if I have mine. I can't remember. I think if it's something that like would boost your profile or something, I think you can put it on, but I don't think there's an obligation to put it on.
Most of
what do you guys think?
Sorry, most of the profiles that I looked at have not had them. I feel like that's more of a resume thing. Because
That's true.
we were also doing our research, we were like, oh, like none of them have. So, yeah, I would not put it, or didn't put mine on there. But like, if you want to, and you feel like it's gonna make like your profile be better, then I don't think there's like a rule saying you can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I think looking at a lot of other students, so I don't think I've seen it that much. Yeah. And then do you recommend putting relevant coursework in the education section? Ooh, I actually never thought about that.
I actually think that's an amazing idea.
Yeah, I think that's a really great idea.
There's a courses section at the bottom as well.
Okay,
I put mine in there. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I need to do that. Yeah, that's a great idea, Janice. So fun. Wait, I'm looking at Rithika's screen. Where's the course part?
It's, you probably have to go to the top and then add it in, because I think that's what I did.
Oh, like add
Yeah,
section
add
or something?
profile, and then go to.
Is it additional information?
It's one of them, because I know I have it on courses. There it is. It's under accomplishments.
Oh, accomplishments. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way to add, like, especially if you do something a little bit more specialized in your courses. Yeah, 35 out. Yikes. There it says we no longer share changes to courses. Okay.
Wait, Spurthy, when you
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry.
Spurthy, when you did this, where did you like put the description of the course?
It's just the name of the course. There's no like description
okay.
part.
So I'd have to be
Yeah.
like I would just do it here.
Yeah.
I actually don't know what this is called.
I think it's laboratory. I could be wrong.
Software
definitely a lab.
construction lab.
Okay.
The classes that hurt you the most stay with you.
But if you want to go into like more specifics about like a project
Yeah.
that you did, I believe in that same accomplishment section, there's also a project thing, like a project section. And then you can like write the name of your project and then what you did with it.
Oh, and you can link it to
I don't think
this?
you can link it to the course, but you can like
I think it
mention it
might
at the
be.
top of the course. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Can you
got
actually
it.
go to like the add section and accomplishments? I actually haven't seen what all the options, I don't think.
Whoa. So many.
You can add your test scores. No, go back, get out of there. Okay, let's move on. Can you guys thumbs up if you need more time for this section? Okay, then let's keep going. All right, the next part we'll talk about is skills and endorsements. So this part is just kind of.
This part is so fun.
This part is basically you take your resume and you copy paste. So that's why it's super great. But any type of like technical skills that you have. So for example, if you're in CS, maybe like the languages that you're familiar with, the frameworks that you've used, such as maybe if you use React or I don't know, everything's blanking on my head from my head now. Or if you're really good with Python, things like that, you can include. You can also include things that are more like soft skills. So if you have done some leadership stuff and are really good at communicating, you can put those there. I think I would be a little bit careful with soft skills. Just kind of make sure that the experiences that you put really highlight the skills that you put in the skills and endorsements section, just because like you want it to be pretty coherent. You know, you don't want to just say you have a lot of experience in public speaking, but if you look at your experience section, there's nothing that would really suggest that. Yeah, so 3 steps. You go to your resume section, Control-C, Control-V, slap that onto your LinkedIn. And then also this is a really great way to kind of help out people in your network. So if you go to someone else's profile, you have the option to like endorse them in certain skills. I think you can do it in any skill that they list. So that's just kind of a way to boost their credibility. And especially if you've like worked with them on a project or something like that, I think there's a place that you could like leave a message and make a note of that. Okay. And then the last part is achievements. So I think Rithika kind of highlighted this a little bit, but this is your place to really flex. Similarly, you can copy paste from your resume, but it looks like also on LinkedIn you could add a little bit more stuff, such as like the coursework you did. Honestly, I think the test course thing is a little weird. I would kind of recommend not doing that. Like if you're like, don't put your SAT or like ACT scores or anything. That's kind of odd. But a great place to put any types of like awards or scholarships if you have been on like Dean's List. That's a good thing to put on here. And also competitions. If you participate in a hackathon or different, like, I know a lot of companies, they'll just host like different competitions. If you participate in those, they're definitely good to put on here. And especially if you place like top whatever, If you do put in competitions, it's always also a good idea to put in like how many teams or people competed, especially if it's like really big, because that's like shows that, you know, it wasn't just like a competition of like 3 people. And then I think this section you have to be a little bit careful though, because you don't want to seem like, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. What is this guy's name again? What could you know? Johnny Ray. Wow, this is really embarrassing because I found that. Like,
What? Johnny
what is
Depp?
this guy's name? No, it's not Johnny Depp. This character, he's like super cocky and like always full of himself, super narcissistic. So you don't want to seem like that, even though like your achievement section is a place for you to kind of show off. You still want to make it like a subtle flex. You don't want it just to be like super long, because that's just kind of like, okay, this person just didn't know how to filter and just wanted to put everything. So yeah, that is the achievement section. And the last part is interest. So Rithika kind of touched this a little bit, but you can actually search different groups or people or companies on LinkedIn. So you can look up like really influential people like Bill Gates or something and like follow them on LinkedIn. And then anything that you like or follow will pop up in your interest page underneath. It's at the very bottom of your profile. And I think this is a great way to show that you have interest in things that you care about outside of technical things. So I think someone asked a question earlier about putting activities that are unrelated to your career in your experience. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can kind of look up organizations that are related to those interests and then add them here. And I actually remember one of my friends said that he had like I don't know if it's an interview or a coffee chat with someone, but he kind of looked them up on LinkedIn before and saw that they had a similar interest on their LinkedIn. So then he brought that up in their chat, and it's just like the chat went really well. And they were just like talk for like 20 extra minutes about that, whatever that topic was. I don't remember what it was. But a great way just to see like what kind of common ground that you have with other people and make it a little bit easier to connect with people personally. So yeah,
That's so smart.
well, I know, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Before we actually go on to like switch over, because we are kind of short on time, I just wanted to add some last minute tips from our experience. I think once you create your LinkedIn, I think being on LinkedIn is a whole nother thing. So it takes a while because like LinkedIn is not as engaging sometimes as like Facebook or Instagram. But I think a great way to stay connected with your network is to interact with other people's posts. So this could be as easy as just like liking them or commenting, and just kind of like having a presence on LinkedIn, I think is definitely helpful. Another thing is like to post yourself. I think this is something that's like honestly personally kind of scary, but you know, when you have like the job update or you update your LinkedIn, like it kind of automatically makes a post. But if you have a cool article that you're reading and just want to share, I think that's a great way to kind of just keep being active. Just keep in mind that your LinkedIn presence might precede you in a sense, like when people get your resume or recruiting, it's very possible that they'll look you up on LinkedIn. Like for an example, before I talk to like people or have chats with people, I always look them up on LinkedIn and just kind of like get to know a little bit about them. So I think being students, if your LinkedIn is professional and it's up to date, I think that can definitely give you like a little bit of a leg up. Make sure you proofread, as Rithika showed earlier. Undergraduates are not as impressive as undergraduates at UCLA. So just make sure everything looks clean. I know it tends to be something that's not as fun, so it definitely would help maybe to buddy up with someone, and then you guys could read each other's LinkedIn just for proofreading, because it's really easy to like just have common spelling mistakes and stuff like that. And I think the most important thing is like you want your LinkedIn to reflect you. I think you can listen to our tips and read different advice from other articles and stuff, but make sure that your LinkedIn is still you and something that you think reflects your personality. So yeah, that's pretty much all we have for you. I'll hand it over to Rithika, and I think she can guide you in these last 2 sections, but it's not too complicated, don't worry.
Yeah, like, so it's probably in the rest of accomplishments where like here you can add honors and awards. Like maybe some ideas are like scholarships that you've won, like engineering awards if you have them, or like anything that's like really related to anything that you've received an award for. I have not, so we're gonna gonna move on. But and like, where are skills? So here you can add skills. Like my skills are kind of like they give you suggested skills. I'll put Python, and and like what I want to give off is that like I want to be hired for like computer science related stuff. So I would put like a lot of like technical like skills on here that I still have to get experience in. But you know, I'll it's and then yeah, I'll put on like these examples. And what's also super cool is that you can like people endorse you. So like I like if you have nothing to add, at least like take this moment to like stalk your friends and like endorse them for stuff. Like, let's see. So I'm just like going to endorse my friends. Yeah. I'm gonna endorse her so hard. And
So, I'm sorry.
oh my god, no, what were you gonna say?
I was just going to say that was pretty much all we had. But if you
Mhm.
have more to add, please.
No. If anyone wants to connect with me, we can endorse each other.
Yeah, everyone connect with me on LinkedIn. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys want to stick around and keep working on your profiles, we can be here to answer any questions. But thank you guys all for coming, and hopefully you found this workshop useful.
Yeah,
And
the
I think there's a
recording.
question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, Allison. I think you're gonna answer it.
Yeah, I would say we'll probably post it on Facebook, right? Is that what we said?
I think so. Yes. I didn't
Okay,
know if you
yeah.
had the answer.
Yeah,
But
let
it'll
me
be
like double
posted.
check.
Yeah. Sorry. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Like that we could upload something this long on Facebook. We'll have to check with our publicity director. But otherwise we can send it out probably in the newsletter or something. And we'll also
Yeah.
put the link to the slides on the Facebook. No problem.
Okay,
Yay,
I'm going to
okay,
be
stop sharing.
stopping the recording.